Hello. So I'm going to be doing some catching up. Gotten behind on videos. First one I'm going to catch up on is the Columbian Vise. That last I showed was just purchased and rusty and gunky and yada yada. So I will show that one being restored in this video. But before I want to do anything else, I want to open this finally. I kept this unopened because I wanted to do it in a video, and I've just been, like I said, behind on videos. But you can see it was posted July 5th, and today is September 2nd, Labor Day. I just been getting around to it. So this is from Mr. James Deadman, of Saw Logs Plastic Hubs, a YouTube channel I enjoy. He's a retired machinist who just, not too long ago, maybe a year, maybe 2 years, started building his own little backyard shop and posting videos about it in his retirement. And it's pretty cool. I enjoy watching it. And one of the things that he does as a kind of channel promotion is he makes these things. This is, I know what this is. Now there's something extra in here, maybe. Ooh, what is that? That's a new thing. I know what this is. This is a dripless oil cup. So you can put your acid brush in there, fill it with some oil, keep it next to your lathe or your mill, and if you knock it over, no worries. And he makes those out of kids' toys that you find at a dollar store or a craft store. They're paint things, and he puts a little PVC on the end and makes a neat little dripless oil can. So that's cool. Thank you, Mr. Deadman. I'm going to check and read what this is. It looks like the same principle, but a different size, made out of a different type of bottle. I'm going to read the note here and maybe turn the camera off. Maybe not. We'll see how fast this goes. Ooh, I also got some channel stickers. Solid plastic hubs. Jim Deadman. That's cool. And yeah, he's just saying they're two different, versions of the same idea. So they're both meant to be used with acid brush, oil in them, and they don't spill all over your table if they fall over. So thanks, Mr. Deadman, and check out his channel, James Deadman, Saw Logs Plastic Hubs. All right, let's start seeing what we got here. Somebody kept it pretty well oiled up. Not bad. And we're back. Easy peasy.
I think there is gray under the red. So it probably was gray. You can see these pins, that's how the jaws are held in. I don't think I'm going to take those out. I will probably do some filling and fairing just to get rid of some of these saw marks and things. That's from people using a hacksaw on it. Anvil's got some dings, so I'll probably face that off. So far though, the paint's really coming off easily. Alright, before I go any further with the grinding, I am going to make a bath for it of some kind. But pleased to see how well the paint's coming off. Alright, so first we'll disassemble a little bit. Or try. See what happens here. Oh yeah, that comes right out. It looks in great shape. And we'll lose that. I'm losing my light, so I'm going to clean things up and wrap it up tonight. And I'll dry this off. Alright, let's talk about this thing here for a little bit. I didn't completely clean it up, but you can see it a lot better than before. See that mound right there and the crack right here? The crack doesn't go all the way to the front. You can see it on this side as well. So this is the rear. This is the way that, what would you call this piece? The receiver. This is the way it slides into the vise. This is the front of the vise this way. And then it has a pin that should hold it in place. And it's all supposed to be kind of loose. But this was jammed in there, and I had to drive it out using, I used a brass rod and a hammer. I didn't hit it that hard, but I mean, I had to give it some gentle persuasion. I know I didn't cause that. I'm trying to figure out how it happened. And you see the way this got jammed in. I mean, pressure this way would only be exerted if you were backing the vise. So I don't see how you would exert that much pressure to cause damage. I got rain outside, that's what that noise is. So I'm thinking it happened when somebody was driving it in. Either that, or somebody was trying to take it apart and didn't realize there was a pin in there and just beat the crap out of it here, and that drove it into here and caused all this. So in any case, now I have to figure out how to fix it. I don't think I'm going to try doing any repair here, any brazing or anything, just because I don't have the skills for that yet. So I'm just going to rely on, you know, the integrity of what's left here for right now, and I think it'll be fine. But I don't want to have to pound it back in again, so I'm going to clean this up somehow. And you know, the way it's deformed there, pretty certain this edge right here is the last true edge I've got. It seems to align in parallel with this surface here, so I do believe this is the true surface that I should basically indicate off of and then skim the whole thing. It's gonna, won't be perfect because, I mean, you can see the edge dips down into here like that, so I'm going to be coming to like a knife edge right here. You know, I won't have this dovetail, in other words, will be off up in here. So that's just, you know, that is what it is. I think it'll still be okay because basically this thing is supposed to sort of float so that the threaded rod that actually actuates the vise can find its true center. So this is supposed to just sort of move a little bit and just not come out. That's what I think anyway. If I'm wrong, I'm sure somebody will tell me. But I think I'm okay with you know, introducing some slop here. I definitely don't want to have to abuse the vise or this thing anymore in order to get it back together. So, next question is, how would you hold this thing in the mill to get this edge? I'm going to have to think about that a little bit. How would you do it? I will say that this arrangement right here confirms my suspicion, because when you push it down so that it's even on the top, you know, contact points, this is concentric or parallel with here. See if I can get you to where you can see that. You see what I'm talking about? This is my one true edge right here. Alright, I got some backlighting issues here, but I wanted to show you something. As I was playing around, I've just got it clamped in with some aluminum packing here, and I think that's probably the way I'm going to go. But turns out this is far from square. I mean, you can tell just from eyeballing it if you got the right angle. And that leads me to believe this whole surface isn't really critical. And like I said, in the ones that I've seen, like, you know, Mr. Pete's, this thing is kind of sloppy in the receiver because it's allowing this surface to adjust to the threaded rod that has to go through it. So it's really, I don't think it's that critical a surface. So I'm going to do my best to indicate on this little piece that I think is true right here, just in this direction. I'm not even going to worry about this, because and then I'm just going to skim it off, and I'm just going to clamp it just as you see it right here, and hope that does the trick. My going in feeling, though, is that it just isn't that critical. Alright, I don't know how I can see that. I keep getting glare from the overhead lights on that indicator, but there we go. Alright, so at this point I've got it to where pretty good, and then you'll see the big, that's what's causing the problem there. So yeah, I'm gonna tighten this as best I can just with the aluminum packing the way you see it, and I hope will stay straight. Take light cuts and yeah, just run with it. That is honestly probably good enough right there. So I'm gonna don't want to go too far. Take more off than necessary. Because I mean, you can see this curvature right here. I don't know if you can. Let's see. Let's move it around a little bit. I don't know if you can see, but that's getting pretty thin over there. And I don't want to get that down to like a razor's edge. Sorry for the wobble cam. So I'm going to take a gamble. It'll be a pain in the butt if I have to get this thing dialed in and everything, but I think that's enough. So I'm going to stop it right there. Again, my impression is it's not supposed to be a tight fit at all. At the same time, you don't want it to be, you know, much looser than intended. So I'm going to try it right there. Alright, here comes our moment of truth. You'll see it just the same as I do. Will this slide in there the way it's supposed to? Still getting tight right there. You know what? I think at this point, I'll bet you it's this. Bet you this has been forced out. I'm going to put something to indicate where it's rubbing. I don't have Dykem. Yeah, I'm going to do some more test fitting and figure out where I'm binding up now. Okay, so now I hope you can see it goes in either way. I'm going to find out which way is the proper way. I have the suspicion it was actually supposed to be that way. Alright, so all I really wanted to know was, does this thing work again? Yes, it will work that way. And it feels smooth. And this feels solid. Smooth and solid, that's about all I can ask for. Good. I will disassemble it again and get back on the cleanup project. Another minor pause. So I put these pieces of paper towel down to catch as much of the cast iron shavings as I could, because they're not supposed to be very good for machinery. They basically work their way into everything and wear it out. So like this right here, yeah, I don't want to be operating the vise with that on it. So it's time for a cleanup job. I'll have the vacuum cleaner out and clean this thing as best I can. There we go. Clean as I know how to make it. And I guess more importantly, in there. That's the kind of thing that you're really worried about. Alright, so I'm going to do a little filling of this stuff. I'm going to try some old JB Weld I have kicking around. If it doesn't work because it's old, I'll find something else. This is purely cosmetic, so I'm not going to obsess over what product I use. Let's see, I got some there. Marks here. Not going to worry about this because I'm actually going to run that through the mill. And some marks right here. So that's what I'm going to try to smooth out a little bit. Alright, we'll see if this stuff has any life left in it. It's some old stuff. Still seems to be about what I expect. Oh, I think my battery's about to die on me. Shoot. Oh, this one's stuck. Alright. Here's my hardener. Seems to be okay. We're gonna give it a go. I think that's about all I'm gonna do. Yep, looks good. I mean, it's been a few hours. I can still make a little fingernail indentation, but it's hard. I think this is probably the best time to try to ferret out. Hope I don't screw it up, but that's my thinking. Once it gets hard, it'll get harder. Yeah, so I started out with this, which is a, I don't know if you can see it in the light, but it's a mill bastard. And I found out I had this, they call it a pipeliner. It's very aggressive. And this turned out to be pretty good for just knocking this stuff right off and getting down to the metal. So, making pretty quick work of it. And I think it'll look good once it's painted. Alright, there's the other side. Move the light around a little bit so you can sort of see. How well can you see that? Which of that is metal and which is still filler. I don't want to make it so nice that I don't want to use it, but I wanted to hide as many of these things. I missed that one right there. But as much of this kind of stuff as I could, I covered up. So, yeah, it'll be good. This is a card file. Definitely have to clean all this junk out of here before it sets up. A little stubborn spot in there. Alright, so there's a raised spot right here where they peened in the old retainer pin. And I noticed as I was sliding it around my table here, I was scratching it all up. So I'm just going to go ahead and grind that flush. Chances are this is going to get mounted flush. I do have a partial swivel base. I don't think I'm going to use it, but we'll keep both options open for now. We'll check that with a straight edge, but I'm fairly certain that's good. A little update on the Columbian Vise. How she's looking right now. A couple coats of Rust-Oleum. It's the gloss smoke gray oil based. And next step here is I'm just going to take some off, touch up the anvil on the mill, and then I'm going to put it back together. And I think she should be good. Well, I don't know how much luckier I could have gotten for the bolt pattern on this vise. I was able to bolt it right down. That looks like it's off just because of the fisheye effect on the camera lens, but it's actually straight up and down. So, she's on there. Alright. Good deal. Yeah, I should have just vacuumed it right off. Wheel? There's a corner over here that I'm not quite getting to.
but I don't want to take any more off, so I'm calling that good. It's not as thick as I thought underneath here. I mean, I have to get some outside calipers out to know for sure, but I really thought this would be really meaty down here, and it's not. So I'm not going to go too far. So this is a question for people out there in the know. This is a thrust bearing, I guess you would call it. It's a clad piece. It's got steel on one side, and then this is brass, I'm guessing, brass, copper, something like that. Probably brass. And you can see where it has these little diamond impregnations, and that's, you know, supposed to hold grease, I assume. And you can see there's a very uneven wear pattern on this. And I believe that comes, I suspect that comes from the key up inside the vise being out of position. It was wedged in there by a previous owner in a way it obviously wasn't meant to go. So I think that the screw, which is meant to bear up against this, was at an angle, and that angle, you know, put the wear in it like this. So I was just wondering, I mean, I'm going to clean this up and put it back together, but you can see how it doesn't have a lot of wear left to it. It's about down to the end of the clad part here. And I was just trying to think, if you were going to replace this, what would you do? The best I could think of, since I don't think I can find any clad material, would be just to get a piece of brass and cut it out, and then probably score it. I don't have anything that'll make the little diamond marks, but you know, I could score it in a diamond pattern, in a hash pattern, and I was thinking that would probably serve the same purpose. It would hold grease, and so you would have a good combination of brass and grease as your contact point. So anyway, I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to throw it some parts cleaner and just clean it and reassemble it. I just thought I would throw that out there for comment. Curious to know what people with experience with this sort of stuff know about it. Alright, so that's as clean as I got it. I didn't get every single bit of that old stuff out of there. Just thinking that this thing's probably going to get replaced sooner than later. And you can see right here what's happened is it's actually gotten down to the steel, so that's one of the reasons I'm thinking sooner rather than later. Oh, that's my dinner bell. So anyway, I'm going to put the grease on this, reinstall it on the screw, and put this thing back together because I don't want it sitting around in pieces much longer. What I'm hoping to be able to observe is I'm hoping that I'm going to see it actually bearing flat rather than at this angle when I reassemble it, thanks to the work I did on that keyed receiver, but I don't know. We'll see. Alright, so here we go. Grease this little bad boy up. Should be enough. Might have to reposition the camera for you to see what's going on here. There we go. Okay, so show you what's going on. Here's that tabbed bearing. You can see those ears hit the casting to hold it in place.
And up in here, I need to get this collar. So that's on its way next. And put this back on. There we go. And this, I believe, has, let's see if we can find a mark from a previous installation here. There we go, there's the hole. There we go. All right. So now, a little bit of grill grease on this surface. And I believe this should slide right in to here. It's as wide as an angle as I can give you. Let's set this here for a second. I'll try to move you back so you can see what's going on. I need a better stand arrangement out here. Alright, so let me look through the other end and see what I got going on. Make sure that I am actually hitting. And it looks like I am. You can see down in there. Yep. So, should be a matter of just getting it to catch. There we go. Much better. She is smooth. All right. I am just about done. Let me take you off the stand here real quick just so I can. There you go. Looking not too bad. And working really nicely. I'm going to look for a for some sort of rubber grommets or something to put on this handle so it doesn't slam in. And I plan to mount it directly to the table rather than with the circular, with the rotating swivel base, I should say. I'll show you that here and I'll explain a little bit of why. Alright, here's the rotating swivel base, or the swivel base that allows the vise to be rotating, whatever way you want to look at it. And a couple problems. One is there is only one of these, so one's missing.
And this piece down in here is machined or cast in a particular pattern. See, it has these teeth that line up the teeth inside of the casting here, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's a good design if you have two of them. I don't have two of them. So that would be quite a project to make another one. I just don't really use the swivel function of a vise much, or at all. And yeah, I just don't see myself taking on this project right this instant when I don't really even think I'll be using it. So I did go ahead and paint the outside of it. I didn't clean the rust off all the inside there. Probably should have. But it's probably just going to go in a drawer, and it may end up, I don't know, going to eBay in case somebody else is out there with a broken one and wants a nice complete one. So we'll see.